Growing up as a girl child, I was plagued with fear. Fear of being raped, fear of being sexually harassed. As a black woman, I constantly shudder at the thought, at the possibility of being disadvantaged due to my skin color. And I wonder, would we ever be free of this? Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button. So today I'll just be discussing some of the key issues that have been going on, which is quite disturbing. The whole world is just slowly recovering from the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. However, it seems we've been plagued with something even more worse, like humans versus humans. I think it is even worse than the pandemic, because even with the pandemic, we knew what to look out for, like symptoms. Everyone's told, oh, if you have fever, cough, or you just know the symptoms to look out for. And even coming to the hospital, we're trying to, oh, what are the treatment people can have? So at least you could look out for the symptoms. But this case of humans versus humans, really, like, oh God, it's so unpredictable. It's been going on for quite a long time. There's been no cure for it. But unlike the coronavirus pandemic, there's just been a lot of work going on, research to get a vaccine. But with humans versus humans situation like this, until there's a cure for it, which we've not been able to find, which really to me makes it even more disturbing than the coronavirus pandemic. So over the course of this week, like, there's been so many disturbing news in the social media everywhere about what is really going on, and I must say I've been really disturbed about it. Like, so many things just going on in my head, and I just started to put it all together and make this video, and hopefully to shed some more light and also give some perspective into it. Okay, so come along with me. This week in Nigeria, the social media handles, news outlet, they've been filled like with horror stories of rape and murder. Like, just going through the social media, I can count up to four news about 6-year-old being defiled, a student who went to read, she was raped and even murdered. Like, seriously, like, it is so heartbreaking. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even see the pictures. They're so graphic. Oh my God. Like, yeah, it is so heartbreaking. And you have them 6-year-old underage. So not just maybe people above the age of consent, as you would say, but even underage children, really. Like, it is so heartbreaking and so disturbing. Now, this is not the fourth time. Like, we've had news of this, everywhere about, oh, rape, people being raped and so on, which is the saddest part of it all. Like, it's something like it's been going on, and it looks like it's getting worse, escalating. Even you have more perpetrators. Like, what's going on? Spreading like a wildfire. I will just be defining some terms, so you can just get an overview of really what I'm talking about. So rape, I'll be defining rape. This definition is gotten from the Sexual Offences Act 2003, the UK rape laws. It states that rape is the penetration with a penis of a vagina, anus, or the mouth of another person when consent has not been given. It's also mentioned, also defined by the Met Police, that the overall definition of sexual or indecent assault is an act of physical, psychological, and emotional violation in the form of a sexual act inflicted on someone without their consent. It can involve forcing or manipulating someone to witness or participate in any sexual acts. Like, if the common word to both definition, it's consent. There's been no consent was not obtained, which is one of the things that, like, which is what makes it rape, when there's no consent. Yeah, no means no. Like, if a lady says no, it means no. And also, so sad is the fact that when you have underage children, if there's been news of even babies, they can't even talk. Like, they don't even know what's going on. So even in that case, it's difficult. They can't give consent because they don't know what is really going on. They can't even process it, which is so sad. So, reading all the stories, and so many people are just coming with so many things, like to exonerate the perpetrators and try to shift the blame focus to the victims. That's the girl child, the females. I'll be define what a rape apologist means, because you really, like, people really into what does it mean to be a rape apologist. So this definition is from the Urban Dictionary. It says, a person who defends act of rape, usually by claiming that rape is not a serious crime, or that people do not need to give consent to sex. That is one definition. Another definition from the Urban Dictionary says, any person who suggests that women may be able to take precautions to reduce the chances of being raped, such as carrying a concealed weapon for self-defense, or avoiding places where crime is likely while alone at night. So if you fall into any of this category of this definition, that means you're a rape apologist. Like saying, oh, she was walking alone, like, why did she go there? It is not an excuse. Or like saying, oh, why did she walk alone at night? For crying out loud, like the student that was raped and murdered, she went to read. Like, she went to, it was, even looking at pictures, it was in daylight. I don't know if the event occurred at night, but really, she went to read. Even if she was walking, that is not an excuse. Or some people say, oh, you have to carry like concealed weapon. Like, does it have to get to that point where you have to start going around maybe with tasers, with guns or something, just to defend yourself? Really? So if you fall into if you think you fall into any of this category of that definition, that means you're a rape apologist, and you really need to change. You really need to stop that. Okay. Also, another like characteristic of a rape apologist is someone who claims a victim of rape is the one at fault for an assault, most commonly using bullshit excuses such as they shouldn't have been dressed so revealing. Like, yeah, some people say, oh, she wore a short skirt, she wore a mini skirt, like, oh, what she's wearing is showing a shape and all that. That is not an excuse, I tell you. That is not an excuse. So if you think that is an excuse for a woman to be raped, then you're a rape apologist. Okay? Yeah, you are. So from all this, the other disturbing part, really, when I just sort of thought about all this, is the way the society, the way the culture really handles it. It's like they're blaming the victim, they're blaming the woman. Some will say, oh, why did she speak at that time? Some will say, oh, she's just speaking now. For God's sake, like, I can't even imagine, what they've been through, because it's a whole process. It's like the body has been violated, the self-confidence, the mental health, the physical state has been violated. So it's not about the time they've come out to talk about it. It's not about that. It's not about where they were, but even the main thing is that the victim, these perpetrators, why have they done this? Like, why would you just wake up and do that? Really? So what is the way out? Like, what is the way out of all this? What can we do? What steps can we take? I know many people might think, oh, I'm not affected, I've not been directly affected, but all those victims, they could have been your sister, they could have been your niece, they could have been your friend, even they could be you at some point, because there's been cases where armed robbers coming to their house and raping them. Yeah, there's been cases of that. So if, like, the cause of all this is not dealt with, if we don't look into ways by which we can reduce this menace or get rid of it, then I'm just quite scared that it's going to spiral out of control. So what can we do? What is the way out? So the first thing from my point of view is that People should be encouraged to speak up. The victim, there should be a forum, there should be a platform, a safe space where they can speak up about their experiences, about what has happened to them, regardless of the time. Because some people say, oh, it's been long. Yeah, even if it's been long, it has happened, it has happened. You don't have to say, oh, it happened 20 years ago, 15. No. People should be given the platform, a safe space where they can speak up without the fear of being judged, without the fear of being blamed. They should be encouraged to speak up. Young girls, they should be encouraged to speak up. If there's anything, oh, someone has harassed me in one way or the other, they should be encouraged to speak up. Also, very important, we all need to do better jobs in raising responsible male children. As a parent, as a mother, as a father, as a sister, like, we need to do better jobs. Because really, when you compare male and female upbringing, there's just this emphasis, like, male children are allowed to do whatever they like, they're given the free hand, whereas the female child, like, right from time they're growing up, they're being groomed, like, it's embedded in the memory, saying, oh, you have to be this way, you can't do these things, because, oh, you'll be getting married, you'll be having children, you'll be having a home. That is not whole to what the female child can do or can achieve. It's more than that. So we really need to do better job. We need to let the male children, we need, right from infancy, that a woman's body is not to be violated. A woman is unique. A woman should be treated with respect, with dignity. That even the fact that you're male and she is a female, that doesn't make you superior to her, like, in terms of what you can do and what she can do. No. So we really need to change that mindset. I think that will really go a long way, even for the upcoming generations in tackling this. There should be early discussions with children about the male and female anatomy of the body. Because as children, they might just like, oh, what is this? They might want to explore. They might go the wrong way, go to the internet, ask their friends, like, they might just be going, oh, are they changes? For instance, a girl, going through puberty, the changes in her body, she's like, oh, what's going on? Like, she doesn't understand what's going on. So there should be discussions, sex education, letting them know in simple, plain terms. Oh, this is how your body is, this is how the male body is, the female body, these are the changes you expect to see. At certain age, this is what you're supposed to avoid. There should be those discussions. We shouldn't ignore them, ignore those discussions. We shouldn't shut them up when they're asking questions. When children ask questions, we should find a way to try to explain to them on their level in simple terms. Yeah. Also, watch out for any changes in behavior. For instance, you see a child, when, like, maybe a particular name is mentioned, she's so scared, she gets withdrawn. For instance, maybe a child that's not been bedwetting before suddenly starts to bedwet, or just some changes, or maybe someone is just going on and you just see, just this change in behavior. You should watch out for that. You shouldn't ignore it as parents, as caregivers, as a sister, as a brother, as friends, anyone around you. Any change in behavior, be concerned. Or like, what is really going on? You're not this way before. What has changed? What has happened? Yeah, we should be concerned about that. There should also be adequate support for victims, really, because it's like, how will I describe it? I can't imagine it, but I know they must be through physical trauma, mental trauma, psychological trauma. Some people, they never get back to their usual self. They need support. They need words of encouragement. So there should be adequate support groups, numbers they can reach out to, where they can get counseling. Yeah, it's very important. Perpetrators should be faced with serious penalty. Yeah, they should be faced with serious penalty, really. That will serve as a deterrent to other people that say, oh, you shouldn't do this. Not just say, oh, you so it's passed, or no, they should be made to face the law. Like, they should be dealt with, really. Yeah, that is my opinion about this. You know, there's been protests everywhere. Um, News of deaths of black people resulting from like police brutality or murder or just so many things, like, which is quite disturbing. I know so many people might say, oh, I'm not living there, it's not affecting me now, but you've just forgotten, like, all these things spread like wildfire. Like, if it is not tackled, it can get really escalate even to other places. And even, what if you have to relocate? What if you have to move to that place and then you're faced with this? Then what are you going to do? What if the victim, one of them, maybe is your brother, is your friend, is your father? Then how would you respond to this? So I think it's something that needs to be really, really addressed. So I'll just be defining what racism is. So racial discrimination involves any act where a person is treated unfavorably because of their race, nationality, color, descent, or ethnic origin. Racism may take the form of stereotyping, name calling or insults, negative commentary in the media, racist graffiti, property damage or abuse on the internet. Yeah, all this together, all these things I've mentioned, yeah, they denote racism. And it can also take the form of excluding people from accessing services, employment, education, or sporting activity. For instance, if a person is if they say because you're of this color or because you're of this ethnic origin, for instance, because you're black or because you're from Africa, you're from this country, or just because of your color, then they say, oh, you can't do this job, you can't go to this place. Yeah, that is racism. Also, one commonly used term I'm sure many people have come across is racial profiling. What is racial profiling? The practice by the police of thinking that people of a particular race or color will behave in a particular way, especially that they will commit crime. This definition from the Cambridge Dictionary. So because they just see you, for instance, oh, a black person has come, a black woman, a black man has come to this place and maybe was involved maybe in a fight, in a crime, and they see another person, just because like the first person is black, they just automatically assume you're going to do the same thing, or because they just see you, they just assume you're criminal. That is racial profiling. So what can you do? Like, what can be done? There's a lot of protests going on. There's been a lot of call out saying, oh, there should be measures taken, there should be so many changes implemented. So what can you as a person do, even in your own little corner? What can you do? I think people should be encouraged to speak up, talk about your experiences. You can have other like black or colored people around you, talk about your experiences. People should be encouraged to speak up. Many organizations, many companies, they have policy, policy of reporting. If you think like someone has been racist towards you, or you passing through racism, there's so many channels by which this can be reported and addressed, and they can look into it and investigate it. So speak up is very important. And hopefully a point will come where there will be changes, where everyone will really see that there is strength in diversity. So to every black girl, black boy, black woman, black man out there, I want you to know that you matter. Black lives matter. Hold your head up high. Don't be deterred by what is going on. Your dreams matter. You are valid. You are important. You should tell that to yourself. Yeah. Really, I think most of what is happening really stems from lack of love. Yeah. Because if you love your neighbor, if you love those around you, then there won't be issue of going out raping someone, killing people, or discriminating against them just because of the color of their skin. It's melanin. That's what gives the dark pigmentation. Yeah. So it's not like something strange that's happened. No. But I believe if there is love, if you love everyone as yourself, if you love your neighbor, you love your friends, you love those around you, then all this won't happen. So what can we all do? This is a time to reflect individually, to reflect, on our actions, on our attitude, on the words we speak. You need to ask yourself, how have you been treating your colleague? How have you been treating your employee? How have you been treating those not in your close circle? Because some people, once she's not in my close circle, so I can't greet her, I can't say hi. No, be kind to one another. Show love, spread love. Are you happy about other people's progress? Are you interested in their success, or you just going around backstabbing, gossiping, trying to pull them down? No. How do you treat the less privileged? How do you relate? How do you treat people with a different religious or political views from yours? Do you think, oh, it's my view, so that's what is right, any other person I don't get? No. We should be able to tolerate one another. We should be able to show love in the words we speak, in our actions. We should show it by example, because it is what, the way we behave. For instance, children, like, they're looking at you, they're looking at how you're relating with your friend, they're looking at how you're relating with people around you. They're going to pick that up. That is even stronger, picking from our actions, that behavior even goes a longer way than talking to them. Yeah, we need to spread love. Let's really look inward. This is a time of reflection. All this thing happening, I think it's time for us to reflect individually, to look inwards. What are those things I have to change? What are those things I have to work on? It's time for leaders to rise up, to say, oh, what are we going to do, to make all these things really come to an end? Yeah, let the change start from ourselves. Let it start from our home. Let it start from our family. Let it start from a community. And all this will culminate in a global change. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment on this video. Also turn on your notification button. Turn on your notification, and don't forget to subscribe. See you until the next time. See you later. Stay safe, spread love, say no to rape, say no to racism. Black Lives Matter. Protect the girl child. Raise responsible male children. Until next time, see you. Bye.